see the PPT I have uploaded?
Visible, ma'am. Visible.
It's visible, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, right. Good morning. So I am Dr. Punita. I am faculty of Directorate of Distance Education, Pondicherry University. So in a way, you can say that we are exclusive faculty for you people, right? We are faculty of DDE. So I'm very happy that you all have joined DDE, and I welcome all of you. So I take care of the human resource department of DDE, and for first years now I'm going to take you organizational behavior. That is a paper we are going to handle, right? Okay. So as this is our first class, and this is the time we know each other, that because we are going to travel for the next 2 years, I'll be handling a paper in second year also for you, and those who are specialization of HRM, we will be that is we'll be having classes for third and fourth semester also, not for other specialization. In third and fourth semester I'll be handling for HR specialization only. Okay. So this is about me. I work in DDE for the last 17 years here. Previously, I was in Chennai working with SRM University. So this is all about me, and I would also like to know about you people. So whenever possible, please converse. As this is an online class, it's a challenge for both sides, for you as well as the teacher also. At least you have the freedom of doing whatever you want, closing the video, or in between you can get away, go. Think about us poor people. We have to look at ourselves in the monitor, and we have to imagine that some people is opposite. And if it is some before corona period, people might think that whether they'll question my sanity, because if people to themselves, what we will say. But corona has changed our perspective, and we think that okay, this is a new normal, that you can talk to monitor, you can talk to phone, you can talk to wall also. Okay, people accept that, right? Okay. So what in these years of this online experience, what I have checked is the effectiveness increases only when you participate in the class. That too, I'll tell you when I realized this. We have to attend some classes, like there is academic staff college. Okay, so every now and then, say for example every 5 years or 3 years, we will have the what do you say, I'll not say it's like punishment. We have to go to the class, we have to attend the course and come back, right? And during this online, last time when I attended a 1 month course, I realized that attending the online class is really very tough. The attention span is very low when it comes to online class compared to the offline class. Because in offline class, what happens, the attention span can be brought back when a teacher is looking at you. See, if I know somebody is dreaming, I can just stare at them, and immediately you will come back. Attention span will be brought back. But in online, that is missing. Okay, so I understood that in those classes that what I learned is very low. Even though I attended the whole 8 hours, it might be effectively maybe 1 or 2 hours. Then I started experimenting how this is. Whenever I started participating in the class, when I say something, my attention span was retained in the class. So what I want to do is, this learning I want to implement in my classes. So what I do is kindly participate in the class, right? Say something. Whether it is right or wrong doesn't matter. Whenever a question is asked to you, answer it, right? And making mistakes is the best way of learning. Even you make a mistake, you will never forget the right answer after that. So can I expect from you people, a lot of students are there, 220 is there. Can I expect that?
Yes, sure,
Yes,
ma'am.
sure.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Now you have seen that if everybody talks, nobody can hear. So what we are going to do, whenever I ask a question, some of you should raise your hand through that. You know how to raise a hand, right? So I will call out the name. So other students, your friends also will come to know your name and who is talking. That way, we can have a personality built in our image. So this is a classmate who is talking. So you will come to know your friends also. Right? Is this okay? So can we start the class like this?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
let us go to our presentation. This is, as I told you, organizational behavior. Right? So what is organizational behavior? Let us take these two words separately. Organization, behavior. Organizational behavior. There are differences, right? A organization, I think, you know, whether you have had your management concepts class, I don't know. Previous till your batch, you know, we used to have management concepts and organizational behavior in the same paper. It's a combined paper. You will learn management concepts and then you will come to organizational behavior. Due to UGC's mandate, we have separated. Management concept is separately taught to you now on organizational behavior. So let me say, to introduce, what is an organization? An organization is a group of people, right? Organized. People come together. Why we come together? Why we come together? Question.
To achieve the goal of the organization.
Very good.
To achieve the
What is
common
the goal
objective.
of organization? Usually, generally, what is the goal of organization?
Organization, sir.
Normally earn profit.
To make
Very good.
profits.
Profit maximization.
Discipline,
Right?
ma'am.
Very good. Yes. So, and unless until it is an NGO or we have some other goal, usually what do we say? To earn profit, right? Okay. So that is organization. What is organization? Simply people gather together. Usually by one person who is called a founder or CEO, whatever you call the name, the owner of the organization. They invest, they give the money, they hire people, bring everyone together to achieve a common goal called organizational profit. Right. So what is the problem here? Why we have to come to the second one? Behavior, organizational behavior. Right? Organization's behavior is something else. That is the policies, protocols, and the visions and missions, which is proposed and implemented by the top people. That is organization's behavior. How the organization behave. Right? We are not going into that. That is another. We are worried about. We are talking about the behavior of the people inside the organization, right? Why this has to be an important study for all the managers? Let me tell you why. Usually we say in MC there are 4 M's for an organization, right? What are those 4 M's? Men, machine, material, money. Okay, so we say that these 4 together comes for the organization, 4M, right? In this, think about the 3M: machine, material, and money. These 3 are in my control. If I am the say founder, I have the money. So what do? I have the money. Where to spend? I have the control. I can buy material whatever I want. I can keep it in godown. I can reuse it, remake it, or I can even scrap it. My control. Machine. I buy the machine. I buy from Germany or India or wherever I want. My control. Whenever I think the machine is useless, I can throw it. Got my point? But can I say these characteristics to the 4th M called men? Can I just like that buy them? Can I just like that move them from one place to other? Or can I just throw them out?
We can do everything, but we cannot control their attitude and the approach.
No, we cannot do.
We
Right?
are an
You
organizational, right?
cannot buy, you cannot throw. Right? You cannot buy. Make it clear. Right? You cannot buy people. You cannot throw people. There are rules for that. Machine is not going to question you when you throw it. Material is not going to question you.
But
People
people
will question.
can question them. Yes.
Yes, Pragati. Pragati,
People
what?
can
Yes.
people can question them for why doing these things, why you are doing that things. So
Yes, yes, exactly. So the thing is, point is, you cannot handle the 4th M like you do the other 3M, right? Why is that? Because the other 3M doesn't think. They don't have a characteristic. They don't have personality. They don't have individual entity. But every man you hire, every woman you hire, everybody is unique. See, for example, imagine like that. I'm buying 15 machines from one company. All the 15 machines are identical. The noise I get is identical, the power consumption is identical, the output is identical. Whenever I have a problem, it is identical, similar. I can have one machine repair person, one machine man to attend to all the machines. One training is enough. Just like that, right? But can I say if I hire 15 people, all the 15 are unique, similar, I can handle them as it is in the
No,
same
ma'am.
manner?
No, ma'am.
No,
Impossible.
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No,
15
ma'am.
people will show you 150 personalities, right? Very hard, very hard. That is why the behavior has to be studied, right? Do you accept my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Very
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
ma'am.
Now
Yes,
we
ma'am.
come to the important definition of the subject, right?
The point regarding characteristics of machines,
Characteristics
how it
of
is not indifferent, characteristics of machines, how it is not indifferent from other two ends.
Sushant Mandal. I'm not hearing your voice properly. Let me increase my volume. Now tell me, Sushant.
You told three ends are all equal except man. I'm asking machine's characteristic is indifferent from other two ends. It is equivalent to man's characteristics because we are not. You are getting my point, man?
No, I don't think so. Okay, let me say. You correct me if I'm wrong. You are saying that machines have a characteristics too, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, but exactly. But my point is that characteristic is common for all the 15 machines I buy. Every machine is not going to act separately. You get my point. See, for example, at every evening 6 o'clock, if a machine will get heat and I have to cool it down for 5 minutes, that is common for all the machines. I can switch off all the machines by 6 o'clock, allow it to cool for 15 minutes. 6:15, I can switch on, right? But my employees who I hire for 15 machines, 15 machine man, imagine all the 15 machine men will not go for a restroom in the same time. All of them will not go for tea or cigarette in the same time. All of them will not take leave in the same time. Are you able to understand? That is where it differs. Okay, right.
Ma'am, ma'am, can we also use the word instead of characteristic? Can we use the word consciousness for men?
No, no.
Would that
Characteristics,
be
personality is the right word. Every person have a personality, right? Personality differs. Every human is different, unique. Every human is unique. You cannot have two human as it is, even though they
ex-
are identical twins. You take that. They come from one cell. They are split
yeah,
cell, right? But still,
yeah,
they look identical. They grow in the same height, skin color, eye color. Everything will match, but thinking will never match. They
exactly.
will
That's my
have,
point, ma'am.
yeah,
That's why
they
I
will
said
have
that we can
separate
use the word
personalities.
consciousness.
No, no, consciousness is separate. Consciousness is the root of the personality, right?
Okay,
Conscience is the root. That is the inner part of your thinking. We'll come to that. This is actually, it is psychology paper. Okay, organizational
all
behavior is a psychology paper. So we will be
right.
having a scientific part of how these things work. We will come slowly to that. Okay, but right
Sure,
question, Amulya, you remind me when we come to that. We will discuss it elaborately. Okay. Now let's
sure,
come
ma'am.
to why this term, why we are not saying behavior, why we are not studying behavior, organizational behavior, why there is, it is very important dimension, interesting one, because a person's behavior in organization is different. Understand this clearly. Take time for 2 3 seconds, then we will move on, because this is the crux of the subject. Or you can put yourself in the shoe and think. Say for example, at home, okay, at home you are a ladla, like you are a very what do you say, everybody is pampering, you are a single child, okay. So if your mother is scolding you or something, what you will do immediately? You will stamp your feet, you will raise your voice, or you will throw, you will say that I will not eat. Okay, you go to organization and your manager is scolding you for a silly thing. What will you do? Can you stamp your feet there, or can you say I don't want lunch today?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Impossible. What do? We swallow it, right? Are you a different person in organization? No, you are the same person, right? Morning you pampered in the house, you made a lot of tantrum just because your mother told something. But the same person when he entered into the organization has become timid. Is it fake or are you acting? No, you are original, you are the individual. But what happens? Your behavior in the organization is different from what you are in the society, what you are in the family, what you are in the school, what you are among your friends. Everything is different, but all are you, right? So that part of behavior which is elicited in the organization because of the environment or stimulus or the position you hold, all these things together, that is what we are going to see in this subject, that particular topic. How a person behaves in the organization, why he behaves such, and what are the conditions, right? And why we have to do this is not for the, what do you say, betterment of the society, or you all are management students. Remember one thing, whatever we study in management or whatever you do in the organization ultimately has a hidden agenda. What is it? Profit maximization. Remember always that. Why we teach this subject to the human resource managers, probable human resource managers? Because you should know how to handle your employees. Why you should know how to handle your employees? Then only you can elicit the conditioned behavior, whatever you want, how you want them to behave. And have you seen this? What do you call that dance of puppets? Exactly, imagine that. Why we learn this psychology? Because we want to make our employees dance to our tunes so that we can earn profit maximization. This is the simple truth, right? You have this in the mind. Why we have to study organizational behavior? When you become the manager, you should know how to handle your people, right? This is one side. The other side, as employees, read the subject properly. I know most of you are working. This will help you open your eyes on how people are manipulating you, or how you can safeguard yourself, protect yourself, or how you can handle your peers or superiors or whoever it is, right? On either side, this subject is going to help you to understand yourself better, your position in the organization, and also on how other people are behaving. This will give you a eye opener on, what do you say, your empathy side will open. I am sure about that, because all these years I have seen that after studying this subject properly, your empathy will open. You can see that instead of accusing a person, you will come to learn, you will come to think why he is doing so, what is the reason behind it. That will help you in the life also, not only in the organization. Your relationship quality will be improved in the social life also, if you are able to understand the basic psychology concepts of behavioral psychology. Okay, right. So with this note, we enter into the subject, right? Okay, so all about organizational behavior is what people think, feel, and do. Just three things, right? Because thinking is the first step. So based on the thinking, what do you think? How do you think? When do you think? All matters. We will come to that later. But thinking, first step. So based on that thinking, you act. You are doing something, right? And as a consequence, or before that, you feel, because that experience, what do we call as feeling? That is a layer of experience that goes into your mind, which makes you as a personality. So that feeling is an important step. So when you think, when you do something, you get a reciprocation. You have some feedback that makes you a person. That becomes an experience layer, feeling, right? So that is the simplest explanation of what is behavior. So what are all the things we will be studying? The behavior, decision making, the perceptions, and emotional responses. All these components we will see. Who should read this subject? For whom? Not only for managers, for all the people in the organization. As I told you, this will help you to handle your manager also. It is not necessary that only manager should handle you. You should know how to handle your manager and peer. So this is for everybody who is working in the organization. And why? Why we should study this subject? This helps us to make sense of the world. Purposefully, I use the word world because that would be right if I say helps us to make the sense of organization. No. As I told you, when you come out of the company, also the subject is going to help you to understand your wife or husband or kids or mother, father, whoever it is. Right? Because according to me, you know, a family is also an organization. Only the goal is not profit maximization, but a family is also exactly, it is a structure of an organization where people come together to live happily. Each of us help each other. So you can apply all these concepts in your family organization also, and helps to predict and brace ourselves ready. This is the important point. When you are able to understand, you know, the subject, you are one step ahead of other people. So what happens? You are ready, you are equipped now. You know that what is going to come next. So you can brace yourself. You can be ready. And yes, okay. The next point is this: I can at least protect myself from getting harmed. Are you able to understand? So this is the importance of this subject. So why I am elaborating on this is so that you give due importance and read the subject properly. Okay, this will help you a lot, right? So what is the scope? How far we can stretch and how far we can study this? There are four important percepts, dimensions on how we can see OB, you know. This actually will be helpful when you become a HR manager, and any one of this approach you can select to handle your people, right? So what is this we say is first thing is HR approach, human resource. What is that? Understanding people, accepting that the people are important to the organization. Now you might think that this sounds very silly. Everybody knows people are important. No, this decade only knows this. When I studied MBA long ago, the concept was totally different. That was called as personal management. It was not even called as human resource management. Personal management we studied. What are the concepts? You know, employees are like machines. You have to come, work, obey to the rules of the organization. And what is the money we get is called, you know, wages, salary. And what is it called now? You know, compensation. See the vast difference between that. The salary is what I am giving to the organization. Organization is giving back in the form of money to me. But now it is not salary, compensation. Why? Compensation is given when you lose something which is very valuable to you. Right? What is the thing I am losing to the company which is valuable to me? Time. My prime time. See, my youth, my intelligence, my knowledge. I am giving everything to the organization. What I get back, the money can never equals what I am giving to the organization. Am I right? See, I am finding something. I am giving my time, my vigor, and everything to the organization. So that is why it is not salary. Money can never equal what I am giving. So that has to be compensated. Only you can try to compensate what I am giving to the organization through money. Now, can you see how much HR has traveled? So, this human resource approach is a laddu given to you only to this generation. You know, now you are respected as an employee. That respect was missing for so many thousands of years till last decade, right? So maybe I can say after the revolution of software industry, automation, you know, people have started understanding the value of human. I don't know. There is one saying I always like, you know, one CEO, I forgot the name of the person, a foreign CEO, of course, he told that every morning my net worth is thousands of crores. Every evening by 5:30, my net worth comes to zero. What is his meaning? You know, by 5:30, my people goes out of the office. I am nothing. My company is nothing without my people. My net worth comes to zero. That is a very popular quote on how human resource can be valued. So the first thing is human resource approach. What is that? You take that component of men into your management style, right? People centric approach. They are also part of victory. When I am earning profit in the organization, that is not only because of strategies and the products I am selling out. That is because of the people working for me. That realization is HR approach. When a strategy is formed in the human resource management and how to handle the employees, when the top management takes this point, that approach is called as HR approach, right? Otherwise, next one is contingency approach. Contingency approach is also called a situational approach. What is situational approach? You can never have protocols. You can never have regulations and rules, right? Why? Because every situation demands a new perspective. So every manager has the freedom of thinking something new and finding some new solution. So that is contingency approach, giving the behavioral freedom to the manager to find a solution by himself. The third one is systems approach. A systems approach is holistic view, taking the organization as a whole entity and taking up all the components as a part of the holistic body and finding a system which will align all the departments together and work as a one unit. Systems approach. You have the system. See, for example, when something happens in one department, we will see the consequences, cascading effect of how it will affect the other, and that's how the policies will be framed. So it is like a holistic approach and interdisciplinary. All the departments will be taken into the consideration of how it should be done. The last one is productivity approach. This is the most common approach you can see in any of the organization, particularly in developing countries like India. Productivity, output based approach. Whatever you are, at the end of the day, how much you have produced, that is measured and that is the worth of you. That is a productivity approach. Are you able to understand? Measurement of the output, how much a person is working. On that based measurement, every other policy will be taken. So these are the major, scope, how long the OB can be taken, how further it can be stretched. So what are the concepts in the OB? What are all the things we take into the OB? OB thinks every person as a whole person. What do you mean by whole person? He is not just an employee. Say, for example, a mission man. We have started with that, so we take that. We hire a mission man. Okay, so he is a degree holder or he is from ITA. He has completed. He has some 10 years of experience. You take that person as a mission man, but he is not only an ITA holder and he is not only a 10 years experienced mission man. He is multifaceted. You take him as a whole person, right? He can have other talents. He can have he'll be having a family. He has a personality of his own, right? See, I used to because of teaching of OBR, I don't know I used to see character even in my puppy. I have a 2 months old puppy now, a new one. I see a lot of character in her. There is another one sibling to her, one boy and one girl. But there is such a personality difference in both of them. I used to wonder the nature. We study the behavior of humans so elaborately, and we know the nuance of how a person will act. Now I can analyze and tell you of these 2 month old babies, puppies, dogs, how much characteristics they have, how much strong traits they have inborn. What are the qualities they show? One is leader, one is follower. Amazing, right? So when you can see such qualities in puppies that's just 2 months old, think about a person you are hiring, 30 years old, 40 years old, how much they have gathered, how much they have been molded, right? So always remember, in your organization, wherever you are a manager or employee, whatever it is, every person you meet, every person you encounter is a whole person, right? You may think that he is a peon, he has to provide me coffee, he is the attender, but he is not born for that, right? Remember, individual difference. Everybody is unique. We have discussed that everybody has a different personality, individual differences. Coordination. But an organization has to have the coordination. Unless you understand the behavioral pattern, the coordination will never happen. Perception. Perception we will learn separately in a topic, but just I'll give you the gist of it. Perception is how you interpret things. A same scenario, a same film, you think like this. A cinema is going on, 300-seated theater. You just stand outside and ask one by one how the film was. You will get 300 views. Am I right? Everybody perceives the 3 hour running film in 300 different ways. How I perceive is based on my past experiences, my learning, right? So the judgment is different, right? So that is perception, how you interpret things in your mind. The bias is common, right? Even see, you take this class even. Now I am talking to all the 211, but how you understand is different from the other person. What you perceive from what I am talking is totally different from what your friend perceives, right? So perception. Values. Values is how the person has grown with, what is taught to him as values. Values is totally social, right? Every society has a culture and value. So what happens, what you are imbibed with, what is thrown into your head when it was empty. You know, when you are born in the first 5 years, you had a lot of space for values. So whatever the people around you have thrown into that as values is what you are based on. That is the foundation, right? So every person acts on this foundation only. Motivation. This is environmental stimulus. Why I have to say, you take like this. I know the subject well, but whether my class will be efficient today or not is depending on you. If you are receiving it properly and giving me answers properly and showing this thumbs up, the thumbs ups are flying and some body, this is a good thing in this online class, like claps are flying. The moment I see that, I get energy, motivation. If the screen is empty, no one is showing thumbs up or this hearts flying, I will be like this. So next is morale, next is controlling. Can you see the difference? The energy comes, see, I got a heart. Do you get the point? Motivation. I get a smile. Okay, see, so many hearts now. Thank you very much. Simple. What happens? I am more effectively can impart what I know because I know people are receiving motivation. This is important in every organization. Right? The next one is morale. Morale is the collective behavior. Remember that. This is a very important concept. Many times you would have experienced this, but you would have never known what it is. See, for example, in a classroom or in an organization, in the morning when you go, and one newly joined recruit, a young girl or boy, for that, okay, 22 years or 23 years old, coming in a very nicely dressed dress, very nicely groomed and with a pack of sweets and giving to everyone saying that it's my birthday today, right? Morning you enter and you see this thing, everybody is happily eating the sweet. How you will feel? Very happy. The entire workflow morale will be boosted up. So it is infectious, a collective behavior. The workplace becomes the exact word for it is zeal. We say zeal, zeal, like enthusiasm, zeal. Bubbliness from inside. You will feel very happy. You'll be shouting or talking in a loud voice or clapping the hands, right? And this is ulta also. Morale is high or low. This is high morale. What is low morale? Say for example, you are entering into the company and you see that a big tree which was giving you a lot of shade and you eat under the tree and it is cut. Morning you are entering and you see everybody seeing the big tree is cut. How everybody's face will be going. The entire workplace will be like this, very sad. Oh my God, the tree is cut. Do you get my point? So what happens that day? The productivity may come low. Morale. Controlling. How the organization controls you. That is the major stimulus of your response. The control, if it is loose, no use. If it is very tight, no use. So the control is very important for the behavioral pattern to get set. And productivity. All these things leads to one point called productivity. So that is our ultimate aim. What do we want? We want the productivity to be high. So how to do that? If you are able to follow all these concepts which we are saying, the productivity may go high, right? Okay. So we come to the next thing. What is the framework? Where does this OB works? Where OB is happening? OB is happening, we call that as task environment. where we have to see the behavior of the people. That environment we call as task environment or workspace, whatever what we were discussing about. Your work floor, workspace is nothing but your work floor where people are gathered and under one roof. That is a workspace, right? So that is a task environment where they are given with the task. It is what they have to do. So that is a structure, major framework of where we have to study. And what are the components in that?
ம்
People,
புரியுதா பேசுறது
technology,
எங்க புரியுது
the
ஒன்றும்
structure.
புரியல போட்டு வச்சிருக்கேன் பாப்போம் அப்புறமான்ட்டு
Ona has to mute your mic. Okay, I've done. Okay.
ஐயோ
Ona, again you have unmuted. Okay, right. So what is in the structure? People, technology and the structure. That is the thing in the environment. Okay. So these three components are interrelated. They are interreacting among themselves, and this is how the behavior is elicited from the task environment. We will see this elaborately in the next things also. Okay. So the next thing is what are the theoretical constructs? This is a theory. How we have based the organizational models, behavioral models based on. See, as I told you, this is a psychology paper, right? So any theory of psychology is based on a lot of experiments and scientific observations, right? So that is why we need to learn the theory so that we will understand why we say this will happen. Yes, who is that? Manikandan, do you want to ask anything? Okay, right. I'm talking continuously, I think. Let us change the pattern. I'll ask some questions in between, you say, okay? So, in between also, whenever you have an example or you have undergone such an experience, you want to share with the class, raise your hand and you can say, right? Why I see lot of hands raised? I didn't say. I see that. Parthasarathi, you have raised your hand. Any question?
No, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Okay, so I think you can drop your hands. Whoever wants to talk, only raise your hands. Other people kindly drop your hands. Sivasankari, Satyan, Pippi, Lavanya, Anisha, Saif. Only whenever you want to talk something, you raise your hand and you can say. Okay. MD Saif, you want to say anything?
ஓகே மேம்
Anisha? Okay. Right. Hope you are able to understand. Am I going a little fast?
यस
Are
मैम
you able to
मैम
follow?
थर्ड पॉइंट रिपीट करना
Yes.
मैम ये थर्ड पॉइंट एक बार रिपीट करना मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया
Third point. Which third point?
सोशल लर्निंग अप्रोच
I am not at all. Don't worry, I am not at all. Okay, right. One by one we will come. So theoretical constructs are the base where we say that very authenticately why we are speaking. People are like that because someone has given us these theories. They have experimented. They have come up with these theories. So based on the theoretical constructs, we are what do you say, comparing and compartmentalizing the people. So this person belongs to this category. How is that? Because of these theories. Okay. So what are those theoretical approach we use for OB? First thing is cognitive approach. How a person is behaving, why he is behaving. He is behaving because of his experiences and the information he has gathered so far. Right? Say for example, you know very well that when you have touched something hot, what will happen? A bubble will form in your hand. How you know that? Because of your past experience. So based on that past experience, how your behavior will be? Whenever you see a hard part, you will not touch it. You will go and search for a mittens and then only you will take it out. Are you able to understand why this behavior has formed? Because of your experiences. Cognitive approach. Right? The next one is behavioristic approach. This is response to the stimuli. You don't know the part is hot, you have touched it. So what happens? The stimulus is you are burning, your hand is burning. So what do? You know what to apply. You go and put the cream on that. That is the action elicited because of the stimuli of touching the hot part. Are you able to understand? Immediately you go and dip your hand in ice water. Why this behavior happens? Because you are responding to the stimuli. Right? If a person is abusing you, he is shouting at you, right? It depends on the stimulant. Say for example, if it is the scolding person is your father, different. Scolding person is your teacher, different. Scolding person is your younger brother. What will happen? You will be quiet.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, no.
The response is different. So the behavioristic approach is you react to the environment, right? How the stimuli is, that is the base for your reaction happens, right? The next one is social learning approach. By the name itself, we can social learning approach. So that is a combination of cognitive and behavioral. Cognitive is here, behavioral is here. Cognitive is in the mind, whatever you have learned, experiences, you are deciding on that. Behavioral is by your heart, what your heart says, emotions, you are aggressive or you are angry or you are sad, that comes out of heart and you are behaving. Social learning is combination of these both. You will be thinking about cognitive also and how your behavior will be and what would be the reaction of the behavior. Say for example, let us touch the example. The stimulant is your younger brother, he is scolding you, so you slap him. That is an emotional response. But social learning is, you know, by after that your cognitive learning that if you slap your younger brother, at the evening what will happen? Your mother is going to give you 2 slaps for slapping your younger brother. So now social learning, what it will do? Okay, this boy is irritating me, let me not slap. And unless doing that, we will think of something else taking revenge, like you will eat his chocolate also without telling him. Or you will not help him in his homework. That is social learning. How to escape from the idiotic behavioral responses, right? Cognitive helps that. So one by one this happens slowly when you are going. That is what we call as maturity, or knowledge or wisdom. Wisdom is the right word. Wisdom comes from that. Slowly when you are, and that's why we say that elderly people are, why? Because of lot of experiences, because lot of slaps, right? So that is why these constructs are taken as the base of OB theoretical constructs. And this is also again a theoretical construct. We call it as a framework, behavioral framework. How the people do the work, how do they act in the organization. The first one is behavioral framework. As we have seen that the situations, the thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything. Also physiological, we include that also. What is physiological is, what is your physique is, because that is also important thing. Sometimes you may not be well, your strength is very low, or you are a short or timid person, so you cannot fight with a bigger person, or you cannot run fast. Are you able to get my point? So these things are related to the physiological effects. So your physique is also a part of your mental process, right? So all these things together makes the behavioral framework. Okay, but situation is a stimulant. Every situation, that's why I told you, in house you will act differently, in organization you will act differently. So the premises where you are situated is the deciding factor of who are all the people around you, right? So that decides your thoughts, how you will be thinking, how your emotions will be, how you will emote, and that is how also your physiological conditions, right? Say for example, if it is a urban area, right, you may be very strong, but when you are in a forest area, same person, your physiology may not be the same, because the beasts are more powerful than you, you know that. So your emotional response and behavioral response will be totally different. So the premise is very important. Where you are, that situation is the first deciding factor. That makes you to think and feel accordingly, right? So this is a behavioral framework. The next one is cognitive framework. This is where in organization what happens, you know what is expected of you, what is the demand from you, and what is the incentive you are going to get, right? What is that motivation? So that is very important. So based on that, the behavior in the organization is different. Why? In other situations, you will not get that. This framework is specially for organization, because you are exactly designed for that particular work, right? Your job description says what is expected from you. this day 5 o'clock you have to submit this particular file, right? So expectancy is clear, demand is clear, output is clear, your incentive is also clear. So your cognitive framework is, what you say, you can think with your conscience very clearly what is expected, what you have to do, and what will be the effect of that particular output. Okay, then the social cognitive framework is reciprocation between these two, because all the time you cannot be very conscious on how you are going to interpret an effect. So sometimes what happens, there is a tolerance limit we call, see, you can bag something only, because how much you hold is also important in a abusive workplace, or where you are irritated, you are not satisfied with your job. All these things will hold only up to your tolerance level. One day, what happens when your tolerance level is breached? It is like a breached dam. Your emotions will be outpouring. You will have an emotional burst. We call it in many terms like brain drain or brain burnout, or stress. The normal word is stress, emotional stress, distress. All these things will happen when you are not able to hold any more of your behavioral framework to the cognitive framework. When the conflict arises between these two, a person tends to go loose, break, right? Usually, there is one term in HR, we usually call it as a midlife crisis. What happens, we can explain it like this, you can relate it, see, you study till 10th standard, whatever is in the school board, what is that, geography, science, maths, whether we like it or not, whether you know it or not, we finish. Then what happens? Plus one, plus two, higher secondary, you are forced to choose a particular line. Okay, arts or science, majorly. What happens? Mostly based on the 10th standard mark, you are forced to go for a line. Okay, then what happens? Your father wants you to be an engineer, you become an engineer, or whatever it is, you do that. Then what happens? Whichever company comes to your college for placement, you are getting into that line. Then slowly the money comes in. So then family joins. So what happens? We just travel in this line, which is society paves for us, right? And there is no time to stand and look back whether this is the right route or not, whether I am in the correct bus or not, right? You got the ticket for one bus, so you are traveling. But at one point of time, it's a midlife crisis, that is around 40s to 50s, when you are a little bit settled, your self-esteem is slowly blooming, and you are opening your eyes and seeing what am I, where I am sitting, which organization, for whom I am working, am I happy with this work? There arises the conflict, right? So you will be asking questions whether why I am behaving like this. Always I am saying yes to my boss, and I am saying like bootlickers, I am just doing whatever I am asked to do. As is this is me? That question will come, right? So we will see that in the next topic, that is called as self.
Ma'am, just one question before we proceed ahead.
Amulya, yes, Amulya.
So, ma'am, in the previous slide, if I say that it is the surroundings of us that actually shapes our responses to the environment that we are dealing with or sitting in, can we say
Yes,
that it is actually the surroundings that
yes.
shapes our responses?
Yes, environment, right? Why? Because as I told you, I gave you some examples. Like environment decides who are around you, right? Because the people around you is a major stimulant in any condition. How they are reacting, that makes you to react, right? That's why I told you the strength you feel in a urban town may not be the same when you are in a forest, right? Your physiological strength is low. So every situation decides your response. Are you able to understand? Every situation decides. You are the same person. What you are thinking is the same. But the feeling and action differs based on the people around you or the situation around you. Are you able to understand?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
is why. That is why I again and again I told you the premise is important. The situation is important. Every person's behavior is based on the premise, right? Say for example, if your spouse says the word, you will get very angry. Some words, say for example, you are a fool. When your spouse says, you may get angry and you may hit. But when the same word is uttered by your friend, you are a fool, you may not get angry.
Absolutely true.
Whether you are fool or not, that is other one question. Okay, you know that or not, that is another one question. But who says, what is the situation, elicits a response from you. Are you able to understand? And why you are getting angry when that your spouse is saying, that is where the tolerance limit comes. Maybe in the office or your friends, they are saying the word again and again. In that situation, you are not able to react. So you are holding your emotions inside, right? Because that situation, your behavior, you cannot show, you cannot emote freely. Are you able to understand? So what happens? The tolerance level breaches when you can freely emote. With your spouse, you can freely emote. You cannot hold your emotions. So there the tolerance levels breaches. That is why you get angry and your spouse will be, wondering why this man is getting too much of angry when I'm saying the truth. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So we come to the next topic. No, that's why I use the word spouse. That is common for both genders. Okay, right. So next topic is we are coming into the scientific side of the self. This will be a learning for all of you. If you are able to understand this core, this will help you to cope up with many situations, stressful situations. So listen carefully. There are 4 selves, right? The first thing is self-image. Right? Self-image. What is that? What you think you are. Take in for 2 seconds. That's why I'm giving pause. What you think as you are. We will take one example and we travel with that. Okay. Say for example, we will take, let us have one name. What name we will have? Amrita. No Amrita here, I think. Okay, right. Amrita thinks. What she thinks about herself. I am a very good person. I am a noble person. I help others. Right? I don't use bad words. Clear? Let us have, this is a personality. Amrita thinks this is what she is. She is a good soul. Right? Now you see the corresponding image in the mirror. Amrita is standing here. See the first image. What is that above her head? What do you say? Aura. We call it as aura. A-U-R-A. Yellow line is that? That shows soul, good person. Amrita thinks she is a good person, right? Self-image. What I think, who am I? Right? There is the next self called ideal self. Ideal self is what I want to be. Right? How I want to be. I want to be fair. I want a long hair. I want to be 6 feet tall. These are physical characteristics like this. What I want to be inner self. I want to be a strong person. I want to be a cool person. I want to be like this, that. Right? So, ideal self. If I am a little bit height, that would be very ideal for to become a air hostess or a pilot. Are you able to understand? So, you can see in the second mirror, there is, muscles. I want to be a strong person. Amrita wants to be a strong person, which she is not. Clear? Ideal self. My benchmark. Where I should be, what I want to be. My benchmark. Okay, ideal self. The third one is looking glass self. Looking glass is, what is a looking glass for all of us? Tell me, what is a looking glass?
Reality.
Yes?
Reality.
Others looking at
Reality.
us.
Very good. Deepthi has got it. Looking glass is others. Every other person, I is the looking glass for us, because every morning, why we have to see 3 or 4 times a mirror whether I am looking right or good. Not only for me. If I am not looking proper and walking out, all the 184 will laugh at me now. Right? I have a conscience on that. So who is the looking self? What is the looking glass self? Other people are the looking glass. You know what is the first looking glass? Our own mothers. The most judgmental person in the world is your own mother. Am I right or not?
Right.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
One look
Correct,
from the
ma'am.
Ma'am.
mother can destroy you. You know,
Sure,
you
sure.
may think that okay, today I have come from beauty parlor, I am looking very beautiful, this dress is looking very good on me, and one look from the mother, like this judgmental look, sorry, we will be totally off. Okay, I am not okay, confidence level will come down. Right? So looking glass self, what others are thinking about you, and we are much worried about that. What we are, what I want to be is secondary. What other people are looking at me as what? That is the important question we have. See the third image. The muscles are under the arms. What the society is thinking of me? I am a weaker person. Right? So Amrita thinks that the society is looking her as a weak person, where she wants her ideal self to be strong, and what she thinks she is a good person. Can you see the difference? So come to the last one, the real self. That is the truth. Nobody is worried about that. Nobody has the time to see what is the real self. What is the real self from Amrita? The example here. See two horns. What is that? Evil person, cruelty. It is inside. But what we do, we purposefully omit that. We don't want to see that. See the goody goody Amrita also. Maybe if some person is scolding or some person is doing something irritating, maybe she is doing something to take revenge on them, which she purposefully omits because that image does not suit with the ideal self. Are you able to get my point? So these are the four real, what do you say, the personalities of a single person. Every person has these four understandings, right? So when you are able to cross the threshold, like when you are able to first understand that I am not the person what other people is thinking of me, when this understanding comes to you, you are moving one step further, right? What's the second step? What I want to be, what I think of myself to be, is not going to be happening unless I understand the real self. If this understanding happens, because you should know where you are standing, then only you can know where you want to go. Are you able to understand my point? Unless you know the starting point, you cannot know the destination point. So that is why the real self understanding is important. When you can see the real self, when you are able to shatter the image of the self image. When you are shattering the glass of self image, what you are thinking, no, what I am, this is what I am. When you shatter this and start from scratch, you can reach the real self. When you reach the real self, then you can reach the ideal self, and you can totally omit the looking glass self.
So, ma'am, in your eyes, which one is more important, looking glass self or real self?
Real self, of course. I'm telling you to omit the looking glass self. I tell you my
But then
story.
again, but
Actually, I have my life, I can say, before MBA, after MBA, right? So before MBA, when really I'm telling you, this is the truth I'm telling. Usually I don't share. I'm telling you, before MBA, I was working in a school as a teacher, and maybe I'm not that this much matured. And before MBA, I don't know the management concept. I have all these confusions also. Who am I? What am I? What my mother is thinking? What my father is thinking? All these things were there. Okay, but after MBA, when I started studying slowly, really these things are stuck. When you are implementing this in your practicing in your life, this really helps. Why I'm telling is, while growing up, I have a lot of insecurity complex. Like you can see that I'm a dark-skinned person, and in our society, dark skin is not acceptable that easily, and that is what do you say, laughing stock. That is, and I have lot of physical norms which is set by the society. Okay, like the height or whichever it is. So insecurities were there, but when I understand my real self, when I started thinking who really I am, I was very happy with that. I started thanking God that okay, you have given me so much of these things, so I'm very happy with who I am. So why should I bother about the looking glass self? I don't. So that gave me freedom. You won't believe. That gave me freedom. See, I can happily come with my white hairs and say, are you able to see me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
ma'am. Yes.
madam.
Just one second. I don't know. It is snapped. I'll just upload the PPT. Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
visible,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
is
Yes, ma'am.
visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So where we were,
Yes,
yes. So
ma'am.
what happened? It gave me freedom. That is about exactly. I'll say. I never worry about my white hairs or how I look. I felt very free when I come out of that looking glass shelf. It shattered. Just I smashed it. That's all. So I'm happy that this way I will be true to myself. So really it works. You can try that. You can slowly try that. Step by step you can see, like you will be amazed to see what the real person you are when you are not acting for others. When you are not faking the emotion for others. And but one lesson you have to do before you start practicing this, the mantra for that is take the responsibility for all your actions. Unless you do it, this is not possible. Whatever I do, whatever I speak, I take up the responsibility. I stand for it. If I am wrong, I take up the punishment. I say, I apologize. Right? You should never be ashamed of learning whatever age you are, whatever experience you are. If you have that responsibility in learning, you can do that. Right? Okay, so this will
Ma'am,
be
I
very,
asked you this question
yes.
because most of the times people seek validation from others. Would you agree?
What you receive from others?
People seek validation from others, or so to say, society. Would
Decisions.
you agree on that? Validation as
You
in
say that
uh,
you are saying you are taking decisions from others.
not specifically decisions, but trying to create an image that I am such and such person, I'm so goody goody person, while in reality,
Not
I'm not.
necessary. That's what I'm saying. Not necessary. If Amrita is having that evil card, she is a southern, let it be. See, every personality is unique, and you should remember that we come with a package. It is not that the entirely society is making you. Remember that. Come
Exactly,
with
exactly
something
my point.
inborn. Okay, inbuilt qualities are there. You can never change that. That's why I told you that example of why I am very strong about that is the two puppies I told you about. They are born in my house, two puppies, one girl and a boy, 2 months old, grown by the same mother and me. I'm also a mother. So what happens? I give them the same food, same environment, same stimulus, but still they both are totally different. How is that? That arises a question in me. Then I understood, yes, they are born with some qualities, right? A leader is born, a follower is born. That quality is there, timidness is there, shyness is there. Some people are introvert, some people are extrovert. You cannot change. Don't fight it. That is the point here. See, if I am an extrovert and I am getting judgmental for that, I should not try to make myself as introvert. I tried that, it didn't work. I'm a talkative person and I got judgmental for that. Many people were this, what do you say, they were discouraging me. You are talking too much. So at one point, what I did, I was trying to change my quality. Okay, I should not say my opinions, and that gave me distress. I got into depression. If I'm not talking, I'll fall into depression because I'm an extrovert. I cannot change my quality. If you fight that, the conflict will give you the stress. Accept who am I? I am an extrovert. I am a talkative person. So what I can practice is I should think twice before I talk. I should not stop talking. You get the point? The strategy is to protect me from my talking and not stopping talking.
Ma'am, I got your
Right?
point, but then
So,
again, if you are going for your freedom, if you accept for who you are,
yes,
right? But then again, the society is not
yes.
ready to accept you for who you are. What would you do then?
Why the
That's
Society
my
should
question.
accept. And what is a society, Amulya? Here, you just tell me what is a society.
It is the surroundings of ours, I mean the people around us.
Yes, who are they?
Just I mean people just like us.
People know you. Your family, your office colleagues, school
Yeah,
college friends. That's all. They are handful. We say
yeah.
society in a large term where the people are not bothered about you. They don't have the time to look at you, what you are dressed. You are the only person looking at your dress. I'm telling you, this is the truth. When you are walking on the road, everybody is having the conscious on their own dress, and a very few only will notice on you, and those people are loving you, right? And those who are having that love, they will accept you as you are. You start practicing that. I practice that. You accept the people with all the flaws. Never try to change them. They are born with that. If they want to change, let them change, right? You don't be the person. So what happens when a person is like that? You accept them as it is with all the flaws. Nobody is perfect. Everybody has flaws. So accept them with the flaws. Yes, this person is like that. So why do
Agreed.
you bother about the society? What is a society? The society itself is a very vague term. How can you define? This is a society, right? The social media about the likes. I never understand that. Unknown person likes. How does it matter? Why should you bother about that? You don't know who is that giving you the like. And instead of that, if you are going to your friend's house and they are appreciating you in face to face, that is enough. And if they are judging you, they are commenting on your dress, and if you are able to accept it, you are growing. And if you are neglecting it, you are growing. And by your neglect, they are learning that you are not bothering about their comment, they are growing. Are you able to understand? So this is the reality check. When you are coming out of that looking glass shelf, I can assure you, trust me, it is a freedom of mind. You are coming out of such a big cage, right? I never buy. Do you think that people don't tell me that dye your hair? You are the only person with white hair. Many people say, I just smile. I don't even justify. I never say that I have shattered my looking glass shelf. I'm not bothered about the society. I don't want the judge. No, don't say any of the things. That is not my job. This is me. If they cannot see me with white hairs, let them close their eyes or go away from my place. Simple. Be yourself.
Got your point. Yep.
Right? So
Thanks,
don't
man.
worry about the society. Society is nothing. It is a myth. It is like a what do you say, imaginary booth. Okay, so don't worry about that. So when you can cross these threshold steps, really you can be a very mature person in your organization, and people will be afraid of you because they know that they cannot handle you easily as they handle the others. Okay, so you can show them that you have shattered. Oh, we have lost the lunchtime. It is 1:13. I didn't see the time. Sorry for that. Can I take 2 more minutes and wind up the session?
Yes,
Sure, man.
yes,
Yes.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Sure,
ma'am.
sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Actually, I have to rush because yesterday our class was converted into orientation class, if you remember. So that is why we are a little bit running out of on that time. Let us try and compensate with this 10 minutes during the lunch time, if it is okay for you all. Okay. Okay. So
Ma'am, before the class ends, can you send the new syllabus because the subject is split into two, right?
you would have got the books, right?
But we have books like management concepts and we want the separate. Now it's split into two, no, ma'am.
No, this is
So,
a separate book. Yeah, organizational behavior is a separate book. You will get a book like this. Organizational behavior. This is a
uh,
book, new book.
we didn't
Check
get
whether
the
you
book
have
yet,
got
ma'am.
this.
So can we have the syllabus? So we'll refer it in the
Syllabus
Google.
is in the first page. You can see that in the book. Syllabus is in the first. All the study materials will have the syllabus here in the first page.
So is that enough only to cover that syllabus?
Yes, of course. Syllabus is given. Study material is a guidance for that. If you have other materials, read that. See, these subjects are totally practical subjects. right? Everybody is in the organization. You are going through all these concepts. So I would give you the tips, right? In the examination, write your own experience. That would be wonderful. Write examples of your office. That could fetch you more marks. Okay. If time permits, next time during this lunch time, 10-15 minutes, I will tell you how to write the examinations. What are the tips you should follow for the exam? So, and one day, again 10 minutes we will take in the lunch time, and I will tell you how to write the case study. Case studies are very important. So next, that means next Saturday, again I will take 12 to 1 class, so that we can have 1 to 15 minutes extra hour we can take, which we can compensate for the orientation class yesterday. Okay, so during those 15 minutes next week, I will teach you how to write a case study also. Okay, if you can sacrifice your lunchtime like this 10-15 minutes, that will be useful for us. Okay, right. Okay, so with that, I think we will wind up the class. So I'll give you 2 minutes. If you have any doubts, we can discuss and we will wind up. You can go
Ma'am,
have
can you
your lunch.
send the PPT?
This PPT, yes, I will send. But I have one more principle I can say is, a few years ago, what happened, these PPTs are, I wrote the definitions also. The students will take, and I saw the exact replica in the exam paper. And can PPT compensate for the brief answers? So I learned a lesson. So after that, what I did, I started giving the side headings a lot of pictures, right? Pictorial representation. So that will give you the understanding. But kindly don't write the only bullet points in the examination. Read through the study material. To make you do that, I make only bullet points in the PPT. Okay? So
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Okay.
remember another one thing: PPT is a teaching tool, not learning tool. Right? It is for me to teaching tool. So remember that for any of the PPT you use, so don't just use a PPT to study and write the exam. That is my humble request. Okay. So next week
Okay,
we
ma'am.
will see one day exam tips, one day case study. Just remind me that if I forget. Okay. Okay. That's all. So with that, can we wind up? Any more questions?
Ma'am, how we get the PPT from you, ma'am?
Next week you remind me. I will share it. I will share it in the class itself in the comment box.
Ma'am, is this class will upload in YouTube?
Ma'am, when we can register for exams, ma'am? Exams, I think the portal will be open soon. Kindly see to the website often. Okay, that has to be open from the controller wing, so we don't have the control of that. So kindly check the website as frequently possible.
Ma'am, is this
Okay,
class
ma'am.
will upload in YouTube?
Last date is November 29th. The class will be uploaded in the YouTube after all the classes are over. Yes, after all the classes are over, this will be uploaded in the YouTube also.